Prayer Ministries. My name is Elizabeth Anukwa. Once again, on behalf of Liberation Prayer Ministry, we would like to welcome you to You and Your Health seminar this Saturday afternoon. And on the show with me this afternoon, I have with me Mr. Keith Broadway. He is a certified fitness trainer, life coach, and nutritionist. He is also an owner of the Roselle Health Plus, which is a store here in Roselle, New Jersey. We will speak on that more towards the end of the show. So, good afternoon and welcome, Mr. Broadway. It's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Welcome, everyone. Let's talk about health and wellness.
Let's talk about it. Okay, so I know this is your area of expertise, so I will allow you to take over and I will interject from time to time on different health topics or comments that our viewers may have. So off to you.
Let's talk about our health. Okay, most of us are designed to program ourselves to think about wealth. But remember, as you're climbing your chart to wealth, don't forget about your health. Because all that wealth will be spent on trying to retain your health. So let's look at basics. We're all proactive when it comes to health and hygiene. We're proactive when it comes to hygiene. We're proactive when it comes to maintenance of our cars. But we're reactive when it comes to health. Mm-hmm. So get in the habit of first realizing that your body works from inside out. The Creator gave us an immune system. It's fantastic if we let it work. But then the things that we put in our body causes us to have in this modern world that we live in, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, arthritis, joint pain, because we don't take preventive methods so that as we age, and we all know we were born to age, we were born to grow, and we were born to deteriorate. But we can prolong that period of time by taking care of our health. So let's talk about cleansing. Every day we shower, okay, I hope. Every day we shower so that our bodies can at least be clean on the outside.
Right.
Get in the habit of realizing no matter what vitamins you take, what supplements you take, if you put it in a toxic environment, you will get minimum result. Sodium, cholesterol, and sugar travels through your body, through your blood. Your blood is your lifeline. So if your blood is dirty and toxic, everything else is filtered, dirty, and toxic. Your liver is your filter. It's supposed to filter out toxins, but if it's clogged, it can't do that. If your blood gets thick and gunky, your arteries going to clog. And when your arteries are not fully open, and as they start to shrink, there's lack of oxygen, there's lack of blood flow, there's stroke or heart attack. So every time you go change the oil in your car, which is a good rule of thumb, every 3 months, every quarter, do a good body detox. And I don't mean a colon cleanse. I mean all of your organs. Do your blood, do your liver, do your lungs, do your colon, do your skin. All those things contribute to the outside result of what you have. So if you get in the habit of cleansing, when you put supplements into your body or when you put food in your body, then your body can at that point absorb it. Okay. Now, as we're talking about cleansing, you have to remember you also have to purify your body and detox. So if you're putting food in and you're not making proper bowel movements, that's a problem. You cannot put in 5 meals a day, 3 meals a day, and only go to the bathroom every other day. Every time you put food in, your body should process it and push it out. If we remember when we were kids, our parents would feed us, burp us, we make a bowel movement. Okay, now food sits in your system so long that it ferments and it rottens. And what you want to do is get in the habit of, as you're eating, try to limit the amount of cooked food you eat at one time, because cooked food has no enzymes. Right. So when you eat cooked food will go in your system, but since it doesn't have enzymes and a lot of us don't have good gut health, now we got all this food floating around in our system, but not enough enzymes to process it through. So In my location, we have people come in, they making a bowel movement every 3 days, every 4 days. But if you look at that concept, say you do the average of 3 meals a day. If you do 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, that's 21 meals. If you make a bowel movement every 2 days,
That's not good.
imagine how much stuff is left in your system. So when they say you full of crap, you really are. Because when you go to the bathroom, you only get 80% out. The rest stay around the walls. Because if you don't squat or lean forward when you make a bowel movement, then it all just cakes up in there.
Right.
So get in the habit of paying attention to how many bowel movements you're making. And you should not have to take a laxative. You should not have to take Metamucil or something to make your bowels move. Remember, the more cooked foods you eat and the more you combine your foods. If you eat protein and starches together, that's all dead food. When you cook your vegetables should stay crispy. They should still have enzymes. In my community, we cook a collard green so long, it has
Took out all the nutrients.
the nutrients are in the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get in the habit of looking at your system in a 24-hour period, our body's designed to receive food. Say, let's back up. 24-hour period, 3 8-hour periods in that day. Okay, so you want to feed your body food, say from 11 a.m. I say 12. I do 12, but you can go 11 a.m. to 8 at night. That's when your body's supposed to consume food. Now, from 8 at night to 4 is your assimilation period. Your body says, okay, you fed me throughout the day. Now I'm going to take this. This is good. This is bad. I want this. I don't want that. I'm throwing this away. Part of the reason you know that's true is because if you're going to the doctor to get blood work, they tell you to start fasting after 8.
Yes.
A lot of people are not disciplined to do after 8, so then they say after midnight. But you start fasting because if you don't fast, when they go get a blood reading, they can't get a good reading because your system didn't go to the next section, which was the fasting assimilation period. From 4 in the morning to noon is your elimination period. So your body say, you fed me. I'm taking what I need. I'm throwing this away. That's how come you have a strong urine. You make a bowel movement. The first thing you do is when you get up in the morning, your body say, you fed me. I'm throwing this away. Now, if you eat cooked food for your first meal, that digestive process slows because dead food doesn't have enzymes. So you want to do at least fruits or liquids. Because remember, if you have a balanced system, then you can balance your pH level. Because diseases can't live in a perfectly alkaline environment.
I have a question for you. Sorry, this is a lot of information.
Good.
So when you said, okay, like we get oil changes every 3 months and we do X, Y, and Z for other things, we maintain other things in our lives every couple of months. We're supposed to cleanse our bodies every 3 months. For our viewers, because I do know a lot of the things you're talking about, but for our viewers who don't know, how do you cleanse? And I know you said it's not just your colon, but other systems of the body, like your blood, your liver, etc. So how would you advise someone to cleanse their body every 3 months? What would be the process?
Well, there's several cleanses. You should do a 7 or 10 day. You can do a juice cleanse. You can do a fruit cleanse. I don't advise you do a water cleanse. There's several cleanses. You know, if you're thinking about your liver, it's going to be milk thistle. If you're looking at your blood, it's going to be dandelion and burdock. If you're looking at flushing fluid out of your system, out of your bladder, then you're talking about uva ursi or cranberry. So there's several things you can do. We have in our location, we have women cleanse, because when the women do a cleanse, they should do urinary and yeast. Men should do prostate. So you can pick a cleanse or you can do a fruit and vegetable cleanse. Never do a water cleanse because although your body can sustain that, I suggest to people do something that you can live. Don't try to do something extreme. You know,
Okay.
you want to do something that you can do, because when something is extreme and difficult, people don't do it again.
That's right.
You know, people say, "Oh, I'm not doing that again." You know, but most people think if they take a colon cleanser because they're behind, or if they take Senna is a good cleanse, but it will only do your colon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it will not do the rest of your body. So when you're looking at cleanses, everyone's welcome to call, reach out. I can give you several suggestions, because cleanses also should be based on what's going on with your body also.
Right.
Because when you think about cleansing, if you're a diabetic, you really might not want to do a lot of fruit,
Yeah, because it's
because
high
fruit
in sugar.
has natural sugar.
Yes.
You know, and although that's the food that we should eat, once your pancreas stops doing what it's supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
now fruit becomes an adversary to your body.
Correct.
And you have to watch how you implement that into your cleanse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's several types. I tell people, first, look at who you are. And at the end of the day, you know yourself way better than anyone else. Even when you go to the doctor, you know you. So the answer to your question is there's several types of cleanses. You just want to make sure the cleanse that you pick is at least 7 to 10 days. Try not to do a one day cleanse, because it should be a process.
Right.
And people want to make it short. You know, they always have a problem when they say there's so many ingredients in this, but when they go to the buffet, they have no problem with the amount of different variety of food that's there.
That's true.
They have no question. You know,
So,
so that's
so thank you for that. So during these cleanses, for those who don't know, right, are they allowed to eat at
yes.
any point of this cleanse? Because just so that they know how this works. If someone is doing a 7-day cleanse.
I suggest that you try not to eat red meat. Red meat is really hard to digest.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken, fish, or turkey. I'm vegan, so I don't do milk, dairy, cheese, eggs. I don't do any of those things. But if you are carnivore,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to do chicken, fish, or turkey, bake, broil, or steam. Try not to do fried. Try to stay away from uh, white rice,
Mm-hmm.
white potatoes,
Bread.
bread, white rice. Try to do couscous, quinoa.
Mm-hmm.
Try to do brown rice, black rice. All of those have a lot of nutrients and fiber in them, and they will help your system to go. You
Mm-hmm.
could add a little flaxseed, a little hemp seed in it while you're doing it.
Keep you
But stay away from the red meat and try to do your foods in portions. Don't try to eat all of your food at one time.
exactly.
You know, like good practice for me. If I'm eating my vegetables, I eat my vegetables first. If you're eating meat, eat your meat and try to limit the amount of water you drink while you're eating, because water will fill you up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be full and you won't eat. And remember, it takes 15 minutes for your stomach to tell your brain that it's satisfied.
Mm.
So if we go out to eat and we're sitting there eating, and I finish eating because I'm full, but now I still have a few French fries and things on my plate, but everyone else is still eating.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I pick up another French fry because it's just in front of me, and I eat it, it starts that clock. So
Mm.
now I'm overeating and I'm feeling stuffed. You know, so you have to let your body tell you when, and it will tell you when you're full. We
Mm-hmm.
just overeat all the time.
Yeah.
So remember, if you're going out to eat and you see a fruit bar, do not eat fruit if you're going to go and eat right afterwards, because fruit takes about 20 to 30 minutes to digest. If you eat fruit from that fruit bar and then go eat your cooked food, that sugar from that fruit is going to ferment in that cooked food. You're going to get bloating.
Oh.
You're going to get gas. You get all those things because now you got a fermentation going on inside of your gut.
Wow.
So if you get in the habit of balancing your food, and remember, try to have as much salad and vegetables with it, because if you eat those things, then those things will give you enzymes and help your bowels to be able to move. For most of us, if you eat fruit, you'll notice if you eat fruit, watermelon and stuff, within a half hour, you'll be in the bathroom.
Yes.
Because it's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you eat cooked food and you sitting at your desk for lunch,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to get the itis. You're going to get sleepy. You're going to want to rest.
Yeah.
So look at how you combine your food, and then I can create a path for you to be able to get that. Feel free to call. Information will be available. And as we're setting up our website, a lot of information will be there for that also.
Right. And so to reiterate what you said earlier, you should cleanse your body every 3 months.
Yes. Yes, because remember, we do our oil change like clockwork.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us in the car will tell you when to do it sometime.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is your car is off 60, 65% of the time.
That's true.
You run 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you do daily, if you eat it, drink it, smell it, sniff it, is in the environment, your body is on 24/7.
Yeah.
You know, so we're always taking in what's in the environments we're in.
Mm-hmm.
If we go in somebody's home, if we eat something, we don't tend to read labels. But at the end of the day, we run 24/7. But we'll take care of our cars and we'll take care of that external. I know people that won't miss a hair appointment, won't miss a nail appointment.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
they
true.
won't miss a car because nobody wants to be broke down on the side of the road.
Right.
The problem with that is if your car breaks, you can call Elizabeth, you can call your friend, call somebody and get a ride. But if you break,
you went to the hospital.
So yes, who's gonna pay your mortgage, your car note, all of. So get in the habit of taking care of the caretaker first.
So, question for you, because I feel like as we speak, I have some questions.
No,
as well.
that makes a dialogue and stops me from having to talk.
No problem. So
because when I talk continuously, too much information.
Right. So you've taught us preventative measures like, okay, you're supposed to cleanse, you're supposed to the right way to eat actually, right? To prevent a lot of things. So what now happens when someone does have a health ailment or an issue? Let's say someone is suffering from high blood pressure already. Let's say someone is already diabetic. They already have high cholesterol. So, okay, we're here now. So now what?
Well, let's back up then and try to get your body back to the way the Creator designed it. Mm-hmm. The Creator gave us an immune system. Mm-hmm. He gave us preventive medicine. You know, unfortunately, we were told, and this is just my opinion, so I don't want nobody to run with it, but it is my belief. Mm-hmm. When you wear a mask or when you wear gloves, your body can't build defense enzymes. Okay, we play in dirt because we need antibodies to protect us. If we wear a mask, if we wear gloves, we weaken that system sometimes because you don't get a chance for your body to build against it. So if you already have diabetes, if you have any of these things, after you cleanse, you want to check your pH level. Okay, your pH level should be anywhere from 6 to 7.5. You don't want to be too acidic. You don't want to be too alkaline. When your body has a balanced pH level, diseases can't live in a perfectly balanced environment. Just like fish can't live in a unbalanced fish tank. Mm-hmm. Now, my best example is roaches can't live in a clean house. They need a toxic environment to breed in. And if there's nothing in there for them to feed on, they'll go. Mm-hmm. Your body is the same way. Sugar breeds cancer.
Yes.
So if you have all these toxins in your body and your body is not cleansed and it's not alkaline, it's not pH balanced, now you're a breeding ground for diseases. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you look at everything we consume has a certain amount of sodium, have sugar in it, and we'll take an example of a soda. Okay. A soda says 2 servings, 2.5 servings sometimes, if it's 16 ounces. And then it says 48 grams of sugar. Well, we know that 48 grams of sugar is a lot. But now if you do 2.5 and multiply that, that's 100 grams of sugar for one soda. Before you look at what else you're eating as you go along, if you have a soda and a donut, you're breeding. A good example, I have a client that I was working with. He's a truck driver. So every so often they have to get screened to make sure that blood pressure is not high. So I'm trying to figure out why his blood pressure is so high. Every morning he comes out, he goes to Dunkin' Donuts, he gets him 3 sausage, eggs, biscuits, okay, which he likes. The problem is each one of them have 950 grams of sodium. And he do 3, and that's his first setting. So now sodium is floating around his system. He doesn't clean, and then he's only starting eating. You know, so if you get in the habit of eating your biggest meal in the middle of the day, you're still active. If you go home and eat, now most people eat and their body's winding down. So then they sit down. So all that stuff just sits there. My practice is I eat fruits and vegetables all the way until 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So whatever else I choose to eat, so if you practice that and say at dinner you decide to do steak, right? You don't put enough fruits and vegetables in your system to have enzymes to help push that out. Because now you have enough rubbish to go. Juicing is good, but you don't actually get the good fiber from juicing because you put all that away. But when you eat it, you get it. You know, and your gut is your second brain.
Right.
So when people have cholesterol, you know, a lot of it we get from, how you say, it's gifted to us from our parents, from our generations. It's something that we inherit. But we keep it by doing that way of life. I come from a community where fried chicken, white rice, that's what it's. So that's what, when I was born, I only learned what my parents taught me.
Yeah.
And then I followed what they did. And as a result, I developed those habits.
Right.
But those habits are what create who you are when you get older. Now you have artery problems. People, your arteries are clogged. If you have clogged arteries, you're going to have high blood pressure. You're going to have cholesterol because that's plaque buildup. And if you don't clean those things,
that's true.
You know, so the only way to avoid those things is read labels, okay? And if you're a diabetic, be conscious, because diabetic is a symptom. It's not actually who you are. You maintain that when you accept the fact that now I have this system. Because get a physical. Every year, take a physical. You can take one every 6 months if you want. I do every year. First, you know what's going on with your body. You know, and they're telling you, every time you do it, they're telling you what's going on. Ask for copies of your blood work. Look at what potassium levels are supposed to be. Look at what blood levels. Look at your what your hematology side should be. Look at what calcium. Look at those things, because it don't just happen. It grow into it, and then one day they say, "Hey, you're pre-diabetic." Now we want to give you that, and once they give you something, and again, I'm not doing nothing against the pharmaceutical companies, but once they give you something, now your natural ability to fight it stops, because now you have a dependency. Once people can get a pill or something, they continue. But it doesn't fix the problem.
It doesn't, yeah.
And if we don't do preventive, we'll end up with a problem. Once your engine blows up, you're going to need a new engine. The difference between, you can get a new engine. If your heart blows up, you know, it's a commercial says, the heart talking to the person say, you can quit. You say you can quit whenever you want. If I quit, the heart says, if I quit, game over.
Mm.
So think about the symptoms that they have. That just doesn't happen. If you get it, some people don't go to the doctor. I tell people you might not like doctors, but go get a physical. Get a physical.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can determine whether you want to do pharmaceutical, homeopathic,
Mm-hmm.
you want to do herbal. You can determine how you want to treat it, but knowledge gives you power
Yeah,
to know how to maintain and take care of your health.
that's true.
Your health.
Can I interject too again?
Mhm.
So everything you're saying is so true. So I got into the whole holistic part of healthcare. The irony of this is I am in the pharmaceutical sector, but I like holistic medicine. So for me, I remember when I was an undergrad, I think at the age of 21, I was thin, really thin. So I usually go for my checkups every 6 months because you're in school. And they told me, "Oh, you're pre-diabetic," and I'm like, "How? I'm this thin, you know?" So she said that mine was stress induced, right?
Mhm.
So she was like, "Well, it's either put you on medication, which I don't like. Even as a kid, I did not like pills. I didn't like anything, not even syrups, nothing." She's like, "It's either I give you pills or you reverse it in 3 months and come back and see me." So I was a biology major. That's what my first degree is in. So I already know how the body works. So I was able to reverse it in 3 months through proper dieting and portion control. So the first step I did was I cut out all sugar.
Mhm.
So you're not doing the energy drinks because that's terrible. You shouldn't even be partaking in energy drinks. The amount of sugar and caffeine that's in there could kill you. Um, I'm of Nigerian descent, so we like to eat rice. We like to overeat. So the first thing I did was just one cooking spoon of rice, and that was it. And versus a whole bowl of rice.
Mhm.
So, and I started adding more vegetables to my diet and lean proteins because I love beef, but goat meat is better than beef. But I started leaning more into fish and turkey and chicken, and I was able to reverse that entire thing in 3 months. But that became a lifestyle too. So I don't really eat the sugars. I don't eat large meals and things like that. And also, one thing I learned that you mentioned earlier is you feed your disease. A lot of people don't know that we feed it. So
Mhm.
when people are into cheese, into all these, especially cheese and milk, I drink oat milk now. I mean, I'm lactose intolerant as I got older, but milk and cheese feeds your disease. It produces mucus in the body, and diseases thrive through mucus. And a lot
Right.
of people don't know that. Even when you see young girls that are going through puberty, they have all the acne. Sometimes they'll ask, like, I don't know what to do about my acne. I'm like, maybe you should cut out cheese and milk, and then they see a difference.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, with what you're saying is the first thing, skinny don't mean healthy.
it does. Because I associated being obese or overweight with diabetes, and I'm like, how? I'm this skinny, but she was like, it's stress induced.
The creator made us all different sizes. So if
Yes.
you're a 4'2" guy named Danny DeVito, you're never gonna be a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 7 foot tall. So
Mm-hmm.
skinny doesn't mean healthy. And I have several friends that think because they're genetically blessed with being skinny,
Mm-hmm.
we go to a baseball game, and it's relevant. When we go to a baseball game, I'm eating lettuce out of bag and drinking water. He has a bucket of chicken and 10 hot dogs. I gain weight, he lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
But then he come back and said, "Oh man, I got this problem. I went to the bathroom and there was blood in my stool." I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Because you think because your outside appearance
Mm-hmm.
looks one way that you can do whatever you want inside."
Right.
And as a problem, as a result, this is what you get. Okay. Now the second thing you said is once you knew what the circumstances were,
Mm-hmm.
once you knew it, and you said, okay, I had 3 months. Let
Mm-hmm.
me pay attention now what I'm consuming, what
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting in my body. Let
Mm-hmm.
me not do so much of this. Let me not do this. Let me read a label. Let me do this. Because when you're gifted as a kid, you
Mm-hmm.
don't really look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, when you're a kid, now we have 10-year-old obese kids with high blood pressure,
Yeah.
diabetes, cholesterol, because our food system doesn't come from a garden
Mm-hmm.
like it used to come. But you were able in 3 months to change the direction of what was going on with your body
Mm-hmm.
because you had the information needed.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people, and more people than not, will say, okay, well, the doctor will give them metformin or give them whatever it is, and they'll just go on continuing
Right.
because they figure they got some kind of solution. But that's not a solution. What you did was, okay, life is a marathon, not a sprint.
A sprint.
So when people come in and say, I'm training a group of women now, 7 of them, okay, because they're preparing for their girlfriend's wedding. All of them got different mentalities. And I know I shouldn't say this, but having 7 women working in the same room, exercising together, some want to be healthy and some don't. But the problem with it is they think, I said, I can show you how to lose 10 pounds in a weekend. But the problem is you need a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
So that's something you said. You said it became a lifestyle. And that's what people have to remember. We're doing a marathon, you know. So if you do Monday through Fridays, if you do fruits, vegetables, healthy eating, when the weekend, you can cheat a little. If you do it 80% right, you'll get a good result. You cannot do it 20% right and expect to get a result because life is short and you want to enjoy it some, but you know it's a consequence to anything if you overindulge.
Absolutely.
You know, so based on what you said, with that pre-diabetic thing and whatever, once you became conscious of what you're putting into your temple, once you became conscious, you were able to get a result. And you can see it in your skin. You can see when you see a person with all acne and all these things, you know, when they have these all strong, powerful gases, you know, when they're in the bathroom, they got to do a courtesy flush because they can't stand themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a result of what's inside coming out. You know, so people don't realize that your body's only giving you what you gave it.
Yeah.
You know, so that will bring us to what you're supposed to use. I suggest no antiperspirant deodorant because if you want good skin, if you're cleansed already and you check your pH, now you can check your pH 2 ways. We have strips. Okay. And I do it 2 ways. You do it in the morning because that's when your body is purifying with saliva, or you could do urine. And that strip will turn, if it turns orange or yellow, you're way out of balance. If it turns green, you're in balance. So now if you have a pH balanced body and you cleanse, now let's talk about your deodorant. Okay? If you use an antiperspirant deodorant, it's going to be hard to cleanse because your body has toxins floating around because when you were designed, your body has filters. Yes. And those filters are designed to breathe. So then people say, well, I sweat a lot or I have strong odor. Well, you have strong odor because that's what your body is putting out because that's what you put in. If you can use a crystal rock, which is Dead Sea salt, it will kill the bacteria and open your pores and you can breathe. Because if you clog that body up, okay, now toxins can't get out where they're supposed to get out. They're going to be like water. Water will find the least place of resistance. So now you're going to get pimples. You're going to get boils. You're going to get cysts. You're going to get all these things because toxins are trying to get out and your skin is your biggest exit. So that's where it's going to come out at.
Organ,
You know, so become aware because we're aware with we will look in our wardrobe and pick an outfit to the T, all the way to the jewelry, to everything. But we won't look at the label. You know, remember, we're playing a long game here. Always the goal. To get to 100, you know, because people do it all the time. You know, drink half of your body weight in ounces in water. Now, it don't have to be straight water. If you're doing a lot of fruits, watermelon, that's water substance. Now, when we're talking fruits, though, remember grapes have a high sugar content.
And apples too.
Yeah, they have a lot. But if you're eating it, because your body will constantly flush if you drink water. So if you, throughout the day, eliminate, so when you get up in the morning, drink some water, put some chlorophyll in it, and your body will be able to do what it is. We got to remember that the creator that created us had it all mapped out. We're our worst enemy. He gave us all the parts that we're supposed to have. He gave us immune systems. He gave us filters. He gave us these things. If we keep those healthy, you take your car to the shop, they say, well, let us calibrate it back to the manufacturer specs. When your car is out of sync, when it's out of wrong, it needs adjustments. Well, our body does the same. It needs adjustments. But we never calibrate it back to what the creator designed it to be. So now our body can't fight for us. So then when you get sick, when you get hit, and we will get colds, we will get flus, but our body in a good condition will identify, say, hey, you don't belong in here. You know what it is. And it will look at it and it will build defenses against it. So the next time it comes, the body say, oh, I know what that is. Get rid of it. So if we can just get our bodies to work. Okay. Now, coffee, I'm not a coffee drinker.
I am twice a week.
I have a cup of coffee. Not in college, not in the Navy, Fibroids. Now, I did drink more Pepsis than I needed to drink because I just didn't like to take coffee.
That's terrible.
Again, I never tell people not to do something. I said just do something consciously. Because if you like coffee, okay, if you want to go, but if you start to depend on your energy level coming from caffeine from coffee, okay, and if you start Googling, you'll find so many sites that says coffee is good. And you'll find some that say coffee is bad.
Yes.
When I tell people, again, know what works for your body. Know what works for your body, but your body has an energy calibration also. So it's not that green coffee extract is really good for weight loss. So coffee itself is not the culprit. The abuse of coffee,
right,
is the culprit. So, and if you drink 10 cups of coffee a day, if you smoke 20 cigarettes a day, if you decide to stop, that's what you program your body to live off of. So when you're changing habits, remember it takes 21 days to make a habit, 21 days to break a habit. If you do something for 21 days straight, on the 22nd day, you'll do it automatically. That's why rehab's are 30 days. But if you don't change mindsets, it's good. For me, I don't do coffee. Okay? But most people I know do.
So, sorry to interject. So a substitute for that, because I know most coffee drinkers drink it for energy in the morning. Like for me, I know I don't drink coffee every day, but if I work late at night and I have to get up early to go to the office, I'm like, no, I need coffee because I need to stay awake. What would be
that makes sense.
B12.
Well, first of all, let's listen to what you just said. Most people drink coffee in the morning for energy or the way. What if you slept all night? Your body refueled.
I know.
Sleep is when your body heals.
Yes.
Okay? Sleep is when your body heals. So when you wake up, you should wake up energized.
True.
If you wake up and have to energize, that meant a couple of things. You did not eat the proper things, and your body did not assimilate food the right way. And what you're giving it for fuel is not fuel. So you're waking up like, and my brother does this all the time. Talk about, man, how you jump all perky? I said, how you just slept for 10 hours and wake up sleepy? Because your body can't recoup itself if it doesn't have the proper things to do.
That's true.
And since we're talking to a ministry, let me say this the way my grandmother would say it. And she's clear on it. If you stay prayed up, you don't have to get prayed up.
Mm.
Okay? Think of that the same way with health.
Mhm.
Okay? If you do it consistently, you don't have to say, "Oh God, help me now." He's always
Mhm.
with you. You don't have to cry out for help because he's always there.
That's
You
true.
know? So just make your habits a way of life. You shouldn't wake up tired and the first thing you need is a
It's
cup of coffee because you slept for 8 hours.
right.
That just doesn't make sense. Think about that's why I say use your common sense. People should use their common sense and think about it.
Yeah. I know
That's
we have another question about foods to cut back on it after the age of 50, but we'll get to that. Since we're on the topic of energy at the moment, um, people are not just tired because of lack of sleep, right? We're going to get to, I'm a woman, so we have our monthly cycles. I can't speak for others, but I get
It's a
really extremely
purification
fatigued.
cycle though.
Yeah, but I get extremely fatigued during that time of the month. And I also want you to touch on why that happens and also what can be done for that.
Well, first of
Secondly,
all,
mhm,
I have no clear answer for that, but I do have information for that.
okay.
Okay, first of all, again, part of my practice is when the Creator created me, He gave me 2 ears.
Mhm.
So I listened to what you said, and then I heard what you said. Okay, you know your body, and
Mhm.
as I talk to you, I get that understanding. So when you get your monthly, you know you get extremely tired.
Mhm.
You know that,
Mhm.
okay? Because now you know who you are.
Yeah.
So now that you know that, you need to start doing practices,
Mhm.
okay, with your supplements, with your prevention things going into that time, because
Mhm.
you kind of know when it's coming,
Okay.
okay?
Mm.
And so you need to start saying, okay, let me make sure I do more fruits and vegetables. Let me try not to do as much cooked food. Let me do stuff
Raw
so my
diet.
body is already going to be fatigued.
Mhm.
Because this process fatigues me.
Mhm.
You know, as toxins are leaving my body is overstressed.
Mhm.
So let me do energizing foods.
Okay.
You know, let me do fruits and vegetables and less cooked and whatever, so that my body don't have to do extra
Extra
work.
work. Mm. That's a good one.
You
True.
know,
Okay.
to make it work. Because now you done gave the information. I'm just giving you back what you said.
What I
So
said.
you know that if you eat cooked food has no enzymes, no energy.
You're gonna be tired.
Okay? When
Mhm.
you cook food, how they said heat kills, cold preserves.
Yes.
Okay? So if it's cooked, it has no energy in it.
Mhm.
If you eat fruits, vegetables, smoothies, if you do that for the 5 or 6 days, your body doesn't have to do extra work when it's already doing the process that you've grown accustomed knowing what it's going to do to you.
Mm. Okay. Thank you for that. So, since we're on the topic of menstruation and monthly cycles, so we've been hearing a lot of news on the influx of fibroid cases in women, especially African American women.
Now, I actually have a product in here that I had to track back down because PCOS,
Mm-hmm.
endometriosis,
Infertility, all of that.
fibroids,
Mm-hmm.
infertility, all these things. But you have to remember, most of our foods are chemically treated now.
Yeah.
Okay, most of our foods are made in a lab. Most of
Mm-hmm.
those things. So our bodies are not getting natural foods. I have not, since my great grandmother passed, I don't know where a garden is. At least you
Mm-hmm.
knew where your food came from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yes, you can do organic, but you know the system. If they say it's organic, we read organic, we believe organic.
But it's
We
not
don't know if
necessarily.
that's really
Mm-hmm.
true.
Mm-hmm.
So if your body, a fibroid or anything that's not naturally in your body, is your body talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then people need to start watching what triggers their fibroids. What happens when it is? What are you eating? If you're eating all this processed foods, because for something to be processed, it has to have preservatives in it.
Yes.
Okay, and all these things create things in your body. So fibroids, if your body's giving fibroids introduced, if you're in fertility, if you know, we have guys, and I'm not sure if I can say this, We have guys that's coming here 25, 30 years old. They have diabetes and they can't stand up for themselves. They can't, you know, and I say stand up for themselves just as a man. You know, the problem is, again, your body talks to you. It tells you. But what we do is we ignore it and we mask it. If you have fibroids, you don't have to go up under the knife. What you have to do is say, okay, what's in the food I'm eating that's generating this? Because if you have a whole population of people now with fibroids and endometriosis, you have to associate it with something.
Yes.
It's more of the masses now than not. So that means if everyone's going to McDonald's, everyone's going to Burger King, if everybody's eating all this stuff, and then you have all these symptoms, your body can't repair itself. So the answer to that is, again, what you're putting in your body is creating your body's reactions. And when your body says something to you, listen. It talks to you. You get symptoms before you get sick. You know, if your fibroids is, before I got on here, customer came in and they had gout, which is a form of arthritis. Not anything, but gout is not arthritis. Gout is triggered by food.
Food, yeah. A lot of red meat, alcohol.
So I said, well, what are you doing when gout flare up? I don't know. Well, you did it. So why don't you monitor it? And if you monitor it, then you can identify the culprit.
Right.
And once you identify the culprit, then you feed on your weaknesses and strengthen them so that you don't have that. If you have symptoms in your body's telling you. A fibroid is something that the creator didn't put there. Okay? Infertility wasn't something that he put there. You know, that's something that you generated by a lifestyle. You know, so you cannot expect to have a lifestyle. If all of your friends in your group eat donuts and soda and candy all day, if 5 people do that and you hang around with them, guess who number 6 is? You know, and if all of them got diabetes, guess why you got diabetes? Because you do the same thing they do. You walk in the liquor store and they drinking liquor, it's going to be resolved. So again, all these things that we're discussing are things that you can help your body to prevent by giving your body cleansing, nutrition, exercise. You know, exercise don't mean you got to run a marathon. It don't mean you have to do extreme. It's 7 days in the week, 3 to 4 days. Do some walking, do some cardio, do some muscle training. Because as you get older, your muscles get weak. You know, you can just go, instead of walking around the track, walk up the bleachers, across, down the bleachers, up, down. You know, if you give your body all these things, those things that we're discussing won't have a place to go. You know, so we feed them. We feed every symptom every way. A good example of that, and then someone just taught me this. I do this group seminar with some other minds because I try to put myself in communities where I'm not, I call myself, my grandma don't like me to say this, the dumbest person in the room. Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you can't learn.
That's true.
You know, but what I've learned is if you don't pay attention to signs and warning signs and discussions with you, because you're with you 24 hours a day, you can never get a positive result. You know, so when you're talking about what your body needs to do, the food it needs to take, the exercise it needs to do, they're not secrets. You know, we just don't do them.
Right. So we have another question. One of our viewers asked, what should they cut back on after their 50s, food-wise?
Well, let's talk about numbers for a second. Because I'm 65.
Wow.
Okay. So let's talk about numbers. Okay. Every time I say So, and you guys got a chance to see, you know, a 107-year-old member of my family. Every time I say, oh, she says, well, somebody in the Bible was 900 years old. If you're only 50, you only 6 months in the womb. You know, you're not old. Stop looking at numbers. Numbers trigger a mentality. Numbers make us think that we can't jump rope no more.
Yeah.
That we can't do it. Now we old and we should be doing something different than we did when we were youthful. It changes your way of thinking. So it's not a certain food that you should eat because yes, your bones get weaker, it's get things, but don't think of it that way. Don't think of I'm 50. If you think that you're 50, then you think you should be doing something different than you was doing at 30.
Right.
And the only thing that's different from 30 to 50 is wisdom. You know, wisdom tell you that you can't eat the whole apple pie.
Right.
Because,
yeah.
And if you're 10, you can eat the whole apple pie because you're going outside to play basketball, jump rope, whatever. You can do that. Your parents can't eat the whole apple pie because when you go outside to play, they're going to sit in front of the TV with the remote. So don't think about the number. Think about the nutrients that you give your body. You need vitamin D, you need calcium, but you will get them from food. When you say 50, you're saying, well, I should be doing something different because I'm older. No, you're wiser. So what you was doing at 30, you can't do at 50.
Correct.
Yeah. You know, so I don't think it's the difference. You can still eat, but you need to eat less and you need to be more conscious. And you have to remember, if you eat in the evening, I tell people eat the biggest meal in the daytime.
Yeah.
Because if you eat in the daytime, you're still moving about. If you eat it at home at 6 or 7 o'clock, your body's already shutting down. So now it just sits there. So the number 50, 60, 70, 80 doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference is at that age, you know your body.
Right.
And you know that you can't eat a whole apple pie. I know the Lay's potato chip bag says 5 chips. Now, who eats 5 chips? That's the first dip.
Yes, it does. It's ridiculous, actually.
That's the first chip. So if you read the label, it says 5 chips. And then you know those chips have salt in them. They're going to create craving.
Yeah.
You're going to want more. So if you don't have the wisdom and the discipline to say, if I take those 5 chips, they're going to make me want 5 more chips. And every time I eat 5 more chips, that salt is going to give me that craving. That's just now. Next thing you know, that bag of chips is going to be gone. Nobody eat one cookie.
No.
You know, so pick and choose your wisdom. You know, so if I know I want a cookie, I need to eat that cookie in the daytime. Because if I eat that cookie in the evening, I'm eating 2 or 3 cookies.
Right.
You know, do it enough time to burn off some of what you put in.
Right.
So the number 50 doesn't make a difference.
I have a question for you because you said to eat your biggest meal in the daytime, right? So what about as cultured folks and colored folks? What about the events that we attend at night that has food? We have a buffet of food. I'm talking about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I mean, there's a dance floor, but you're at a party, right? And it's at night and there's food. How do we go about that?
I got a good answer for that. You know, I got a good answer. I'm a recovering addict. I've been clean 40 years. Okay. I don't drink, I don't do none of that. But ain't nobody shut down no liquor stores. And when I go to Webby's, they still have champagne.
That's true.
And when I go to events, it is. Again, wisdom and discipline. You know, just because it's there. Remember, part of the reason why we're our healthiest and unhealthiest because all events are centered around food.
Yeah.
You know, so everything we know it's food. So now you got to know if it's 8 o'clock at night, you better be eating a salad. You better be eating some sticks. You know you can't be eating that big food. Again, that's when it comes to discipline. Just because it's there
doesn't mean you have to have it.
Doesn't mean you have to have it. and you know you're going to the party. So try to eat and prepare yourself mentally, because just because it's there, don't mean you should consume it. Because when you consume it, you know, it's going to do how they say, what you do in the dark will show in the light.
Right. Yes.
You know, it will show on the scale. It will show. So that's a simple question. I go to a lot of events. You know, and people say, well, what you got on your plate? Man, it look like you eating for a bird. Man, it's 8 o'clock at night. It's 8 o'clock at night. I want to be social, but I don't want me being social with you to be unhealthy for me. So then again, that's why I say the wisdom thing. You can't change the environments. You can't change. The only thing you can do and the only thing you can monitor is you. That's mindset. You know the food's going to be there. And you know it's going to taste good. You know people want to eat something. But then you need discipline. And we lack this. It's a saying. I have 4 sayings, and these will come into play. Your body is your only home. If you destroy it, where will you live? First one. The second one says we first make our habits, then our habits make us.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get up every day and drink coffee and eat sugary donuts, that's what you grow to believe. And that's what your body says, okay, where's my donut at? I didn't get it this day. It's going to start dragging. The third one says, and that's where we all should be at right now, you have to become uncomfortable to become comfortable. That's the transition. For you to get that biology degree, it was uncomfortable studying all the time. You have to go through the process. So you have to be uncomfortable to become comfortable. My niece is up here. I took her to get her hair done. She's getting these braids. She's going to be there for 8 hours.
Yes.
Okay? That's the process. She's going to be uncomfortable, fidgety, all kinds of things. But you have to be uncomfortable to be. So now as we're talking about this health thing, and people are considering changing and switching, well, remember, you're going to change some things, and your body's going to flex. Your body's going to say, hey, I'm used to my cup of coffee in the morning. I'm used to it. Now you taking it away. I'm going to go into withdrawal. So you will get negative before you get positive. So you have to take the uncomfortable. Okay. The fourth sign says, unless you conquer yourself, yourself will conquer you. You know, so when you asked about that eating thing, and you know, when you out after hours and you're doing things, that's why I say Monday through Fridays, be as disciplined as you can, because in the weekend at events, you want to be able to partake.
Absolutely.
What you can control, control. What you can't control, you can't control. So since I know I want to go to events, you know, I try to do my water, fruits, and stuff all through my environment. Because when I go out, I'm not going on a cruise and a vacation and just eating lettuce.
Of course.
Purpose. You know? So the answer to this whole thing is, at the end of the day, if you don't control you, you know your do's and don'ts.
Yes.
Okay? Your mother taught you all she could teach you, and your parents taught you all they can teach you. When you walk out the door, it's on you. You know? So if you can't control you, that's a problem.
Right. So thank you so much. We are actually at the top of the hour. It's always a pleasure talking to you. You know, I stop by the shop all the time to bother you anyways. You all should, if you can, visit the Roselle Health Plus store. It's on 125 East 2nd Avenue, Roselle, New Jersey, 07203. Or you can send Mr. Broadway an email at rosellehealthplus@comcast.net. Once again, that address is 125 East 2nd Avenue, Roselle, New Jersey.
Can I add something in here real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, not only do we have the health and vitamin store here, we have a vegan restaurant, and we do meal plans. We do meal prep. We're life coaches. We have the gyms, as she said, personal training, and we have a massage therapist. So you can come here and get all your health from her. So if you're having some ideas on how to get started, email me, stop in, and you can get the food, you can get the right advice. You can meet with the right people. You can be in a community that's doing what you are aspiring to do.
Absolutely. And they also sell loose herbs. I make my teas with the strainer. It's amazing for those that are interested in detoxing. Amazing. I
And we
come there
will
all the
ship.
time.
We will,
So
we
yeah,
will ship.
yes. And they
Yeah.
will ship, like you just said. But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure
It's been
as
a
always.
pleasure. I
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Yes, I enjoyed it too. I love learning about the health and pharmaceuticals works. We're not telling anyone not to do it, but it's also good to seek a holistic way because, like we always say, God created us. He knew what He was doing. God is very intentional. He gave us the earth. All the solutions are in the earth. I mean, that comes through your food, your herbs, and also He blessed you with an immune system. So the more you nourish that and strengthen that, the better for you. So thank you all. Thank you all our viewers for joining this
My
afternoon.
closing statement: old is the gold.
Yes, old gold.
Old is the gold.
I'm trying to get to 100. I don't know about anyone else.
Yes, and that's the goal. Old is the gold.
I want to enjoy my retirement. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor, and we pray that for all of you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Have
too.
a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for tuning into Liberation Prayer Ministries.
Oh,
Bye.
be blessed. Bye.
Bye.